finally done with special comics. Well, for now. We're back to the main series. And I'm sorry if I rushed or sound dull during the last issue, but I'll be honest, I didn't feel like making new voices for characters who are only there for like 5 seconds, if you know what I mean. And for a story that doesn't mean much, I just had to figure out the list. And we're back to the main story, and we got a pretty rad cover to go with it. Let's get into this thing. Let's do it to it, as Sonic says in these comics. Like I said, I don't read these preludes because you can just watch the other videos. Yeah. Back to basics, or the history device. We still can't believe it. Sonic, you and Tails are actually leading Metropolis to find the evil sorcerer Ixnagas. Finding him should be a breeze, Princess Sally. Kicking his butt is going to be a lot tougher. It's hard to lay a hand on a guy who casts magical spells for a living. The last time we heard, we tried to take. Last time he tried to take over the kingdom, he took possession of your father, King Ankor, and nearly started a civil war. That loony almost put Robotnik to shame.
Sonic, well, you got a load of this.
What a little what, Rotor?
Well, I've been poking around Robotic's old laboratory, and I found something that might help you out on your journey. Alright?
Alright, you got my attention.
Have a care, boys. You never know what to expect from a device devised by that mad genius. Well, according to Robotnik's blueprints for it, whoever wears this doohickey can glimpse into the future, Uncle Chuck.
Wow, are you serious? Only one way to find out. Wait, have you gone bonkers? What do you mean? This thing could help me get the jump on Nexus. If I know where he's headed before he's even head there. Have it your way. Let's party. Oh, I realized what this issue is before I got into it. So the colors think the Sonic Tails are going on an adventure, which they actually do. But no, this is an issue that. Alright, so guys, from here on out, you can skip this. Because this entirety of this, the rest of the comic, is literally a giant recap. And I'm going to have to read it all, so here goes nothing. Zowie, this is way cool. I get this. Robotnik goofed up again instead of projecting the future. This contraption has only shown us what happened in the past. Like, who could ever forget the day he hit a swap out and returned our beautiful metropolis into Robotropolis? Soon Robotnik's factories were coughing up so much smog and grit in the sky above the city. Even the clouds were choking. The clouds didn't get the worst of it. The honor was reserved for the citizens like my Uncle Chuck, and my dog Mutsky, who were rounded up and forced into the dreaded roboticizer, a device that turned flesh and blood Mobians into mindless robots fit for only toiling in the Robotnik sweatshops. The Princess Sally and me managed to escape to the Great Forge just outside the city's limits. It was there that a handful of Mobians who had been roboticized up a secret camp hidden even in the shrubbery of a cliff, Naho Village. Back then we used to use the underground caverns of the Freedom Fighters headquarters. We didn't know what had become of Sally's dad, the king. We only knew that for now we were safe. Boy, did things heat up after we became freedom fighters. Yeah, for Robotnik, that is. First, Tails, Anton, Rotor, and me made sure that an attempt to robotize Sally became a no-go, and that pretty much kicked off the grand traditions of mucking up his operations. Don't be fooled into thinking that the fight didn't have its unfair share of heartbreaks, though. For instance, how about when I first tried to free Uncle Chuck and Muskie from Robotnik's grip? I lost the battle that day. No matter how, and to make matters worse, Robotnik sent mechanical weeds to destroy the Great Forest. Good thing it was destroyed by summer rainfall water being its weakness. For I had time to tie my laces, I felt myself like a single night city, facing Overknot, one of Robotnik's baddest badniks. Yeah, Overknot, the worst badnik. They're fucking easy to beat, especially Sonic 3, we could use the instant shield to kill it. I love the instant shield. Next was 3 against 1, Robotnik's idea of a fair fight. I wouldn't forget Coconut, Scratch, or Gunner anytime soon. Then a cluster of magic rings took me to the unknown zone, where I met not one but 2 weirdos, vertical and horizontal. Apparently that was important to mention those fuckers. Fuck them. I get home in time to be a part of a caper that involved disguising Rotor's Robotnik's after a deadly bomb. One day it really stopped a couple swap bots from roboticing some girl. Some girl turned out to be Bunny Rabbit. Although her legs and left arm were changed, she still had her free will. Like any warm-blooded movie, and she joined our cause. Maybe Robotnik got a little anxious because in his next latest effort, he's rid of Mobius of yours truly. He mutated a tiny amphibian into a giant weapon of destruction. The Universal Salamander. I fought back as Supersonic. With the mass defeated, we found ourselves up against a new one. It was called the Terminator. Do you freedom fighters remember our surprise attack on the Robotnik's factory atop Mount Mobius? And it nushed on everything in sight. That's where I tossed with two tough customers named Rexon and Scorpius. When we found the Uncle Chuck's treasure map, we didn't know its value, neither did the doc, but he did after stealing it from us to find the goods, a bronze pair of my baby shoes. I made it for that intel by selling robot versions of my favorite comic book superheroes to murderize me. And when Robotnik used the nasty gizmo to shrink us down to size, I guess you could say a little me had to go a long way. Like, what the fuck's the point of this? You know what I mean? The more you read it, it's like, do we really need this? Like, what's what happened in this story? It doesn't really give you much to go off. You know what I mean? It's just like I remember that comic. Yeah, I remember that. I read it, and yeah, they had to show. They bring back this disgusting image. Gotta say one thing for the doc though. He sure wouldn't give up easy after I was infected by deadly flower blossoms. He sent robot double me to Nahul. It would have sent the coordinates of the village location to him, but it was destroyed first. Holy souls, I almost forgot about the needle bird I gave Sally for a birthday present. Very important. I was about to look at to, to look a gift bird in the mouth, neither. The little fella helped me save her from Robotnik's latest. You keep saying Robotnik's late all the time. Latest dip trap. Not long after that, we met the strangest moments of all, the Nerbs. We learned that they lived on a ground where a robotic sewer system was polluting their homes. We freedom fighters were sure to put a stop to that. They took me to the alternate reality zone and put me on a Mobius where Robotnik was a hero and we were the villains. That version of Robotnik helped me get back to reality for a rematch with Coconuts. The first taste of time travel, and you thought daylight savings was bad. If not for Sally and the crew, I might have been stuck there forever. Anyway, it was back to butt kicking. Only that time it was my butt being kicked. While on the run from Robotnik's Rambot, I met Cyril, one of the last eagles on the planet. Him is the coolest cat ever. Larry Lynx, Super Jinx. He's not the coolest cat, he's the lamest cat. Fuck him. You can forget the first time I met Knuckles the Echidna. Tails and I went to his floating island in the sky. On the trail of Robotnik's head hovercraft, Robotnik duped him into bunning us, so he could try to steal the Chaos Arrow that Knuckles protects. Next reverse Robotic Jelly's invention, Robostorm. Space platform able to robot's 100-mile radius from its orbit high above Mobius. I never think that eating an apple a day could keep the doctor away, or Robotnik away. He'll saw after he ate from the tree of wisdom and became super intelligent. He tried to defeat Robotnik on his own, but luckily the effects of the fruit wore off and he came to his senses. Robotnik retaliated with his battle Beetlebot, which ambushed us in the Mobian Badlands. After Doc figured on capturing Bunny with the so-called Magnabot, it took some quick thing to redirect that heat right back at base. Soon after Robotnik had the freedom fighters right where he wanted, unwittingly spending the rest of our virtual life stuck in a virtual reality simulator. We figured out his scheme in time to wake us, proving that Robotnik couldn't beat me in his sleep if he tried. King Gong and General Ape real mad run for hedgehogs are another story entirely. Next on schedule, an ambush swap us style after Robotnik was stuck Sally in my stage performance for honest to real wedding vows. Oh my goodness, this is so stupid. They have to mention every single subplot. The little detail doesn't matter. Like they can't even explain King Gong. Like they really didn't have anything to say about King Gong because it was fucking stupid. When a full meteorite revealed that I was really thinking pure and even Nicole, I made another dangerous guess into the Badlands for Sally and the rest of us. And if fighting Robotic all that time wasn't bad enough, I also had to fight a robot-sized version of him from an alternate timeline, Robotnik. What the Robo-Robotnik? This giant board took the combined power of me and every Sonic from every possible reality to beat him. When I tried sabotaging a new robotic weapon, it made me undetectable by sight, sound, or touch. Friends thought it had done me in. Instead, let me tell you about Eve, a robotic made super robot that became so smart it opened before vaporizing the dock and packing for other outer space. Robotic now history is robot forces ran wild following a failsafe he had planned in case he croaked. He'd say it, but when the Doc arm mysteriously came back in the nick of time to call up the Doc, he was in sight for sore eyes. What I didn't know was that I'd soon be seeing him real soon. When an off-world bear tried to make us all a part of his pet collection. We got home to find out that it was time for a face-off because we've been framed by alternate reality versions of ourselves. Like trying to get a Mecha Sonic. They rolled me that only proved that there ain't nothing like the real thing. Oh my goodness. With the survival in Nahal Village in doubt, I had to visit Knuckles' Fling Island in order to save it. Knuckles wasn't too ecstatic to see me, though. If I thought I got in close room for Knuckles, I was wrong. Silly Rose, the robotic flunky, decided to debut a new gadget of theirs, the Weather Annihilator. After that, I should have gone the hint and taken a vacation. No such luck that one of our robotics hired bounty hunters nacked the weasel. He was trying to take me out for a piece of the chaos gem I found. And I don't mean a nice dinner either. It was long before Robotnik was onto us. His next nefarious plot, this time it involved using the amnesia I had after being jumped by a SWAT bot to fool me into joining his ranks. Loss of memory, it might as well have been my brain, because he turned me against my closest friend. Good thing my memory loss wasn't for all time. She looked that way for Sally after she was temporarily roboticized. When I mistakenly thought Knuckles had sold us out to the dock, we both got ready to rumble. Next time one of our robotics dumb experiments went wrong, something good actually happened for a change. Uncle Chuck got back his free will and came home. How about Joffrey St. John? What a jackass. When he and I first teamed up, the robotics Dynamic 3000 Ultra Android had no clue he'd stick around long enough to actually be useful. Just kidding. Not. I hate this. I hate this. Hey, Hedgehog's best friend almost became the opposite when Mutsky Silver Boss Eyes let a SWAT-bot team to me. Luckily, we were able to undo by Pooch's programming. We met another friend along the way, Moby the Cave Bear. Robotnik, with his newest wave of bots called Combots, cute, huh? Tried to ice me in the Great Forest. Both would have learned, would have conquerors never learned. After collecting my billion magic ring, I was warped to another dimension where I learned more about the rings, the power source from benevolent mystical beings who lived there. All life movies was threatened by threat, but another zone, reality replacing our own. We formed an uneasy alliance for robotic long enough to go into the so-called zone of silence to reverse the problem. Where we fled to find that another problem and form the Sally's dad, Kingcorn, who had been missing since robotic took over. That was a mystery that remained unfigured out that day. I had more enormous problems like the earthquake that wiped the whole city. Me losing my superpowers after a freak accident. That was the worst day of my life. That was one hedgehog who was feeling a definite need for speed. And I don't want to have to show again how easily I mopped up the floor in surrounding environs. Not that the robotics made me go mecha. Robotics advice really leaves me without choice, Snicker. Oh, but don't be fooled into thinking that wasn't into the serious grudge match. He even risked fossilization to become Knuckles. To become Knuckles. What the fuck that means? That mecha match nearly cost us all we held dear. Clear humanity, what a close call. But get this, no sooner is the guy deroboticized, but all of a sudden, falsely accused of treason against the kingdom. What a bunch of losers. Oh boy. After clearing my way cool name, me and Sally and Joffrey go back to the zone of silence to find King Acorn and bring him home. There was no time for cooling my heels, though. We're buying the most genius device since Robostorm was ready for use, the dread Death Egg. Both me and the Doc meant business at that time. We were wearing the battle suits to prove it, but it didn't matter how much he fought. I'm positive he went up the egg in his face that time. While the doc licked his wounds, we used the free time to try and find a cure for the strange sickness that had King Incarnate in his grip ever since he came home. Using a dream device, I was able to enter the king's mind and convince his consciousness that he was finally free to stone silence. Basic tag team match, me and Knuckles could after evil ultra reality version of ourselves made the scene. Finally, I got that trip I was begging for, except it was to the jungle where the freedom fighters had to stop robotics eco destroyer from just turning it into a tossed salad. No one was ready for what happened next. Robotics ultimately planned to put me out of the picture once and for all. His endgame. I didn't know what. I didn't know at the time, but Doc uses crummy technology to make it seem as though I'd murder the princess. A bogus rap affair, if there ever was one. They would have all meant a life sentence for years fully, but not for a little help from a friend. Namely, Dulce the Last Dragon on Planet Mobius. I never imagined that all these events would went up in one final knockdown drag-out fight between me and Robotnik to play the world in balance between us. When all was said and done, I had gone all 18 rounds and let it tell a tale. Judge Robotnik, he wasn't so lucky. My name cleared and still alive, and well, I knew that my own luck hadn't run out. The freedom fighters had at long last liberated Mobotropolis for everyone. But even with the doc's passing, I've still had to face random menaces plenty. More alternate reality zones like that cross up all over, like giving us glimpses into another life we could have led. Brand new heavies like Ex's Nagas who won't stop at anything as they attempt to take out up robotics reigns. And old hidden threats waiting to come back like dust swept under the carpet. Luckily, Monkey Kong was one of the good guys. But I know one bad thing. With friends that aid me in the battle against power-hungry goons like my Mogul, with the king fully restored to his full health by the sacred emblems of the realm, his missing crown and sword, Metropolis, finally a shout at that. Say, what gives? Gangway, everybody. I got a bad feeling about this. Now, I'm all bummed out.
Maybe not so bad, Sonic. That history device worked for you, Robotnik. We might not be here today to discuss any of this.
Mom, Dad,
What is it, son?
I guess I've been avoiding you instead of showing you, heck, I've done a zero job showing you how glad I am that you're both alive and well. For years, I thought you were all well, you know.
Son, I'm glad to be back. Why, you almost forgot to pack your toothbrush and clean socks. No. Don't try to nag the boys. Bruni can get along with us just fine.
No way, Padre, don't say that.
I need you more now more than ever, and there's no way I'll let you two bit villains like Exnuggets stand in the way of our happiness.
I'm Sonic, you here over here.
And
This is it, the big moment. I guess it is, that Princess Sally, I've got to say something that's been on my chest for a long time now. Yeah, I think that you rule in the biggest way. You're my best friend, I'm Mobius. Except Tails actually is supposed to be my best friend, but I don't fuck Tails. I don't want to get leave. We're back at you, Blue. But when are you coming back? When will I see you again? I can't say because and I really haven't checked our dinner day plans. I'm only fooling. See, so what will I do in the meantime? First, take these flowers. Second, get to know your dad again. It's been a while, huh? And third, don't you go changing your on me, Sally Acorn.
this day heralds the start of a new era for Sonic's friends and family.
Well, whose idea was it to change the name of my family to Winged Victory? A newly formed Metropolis Council came to this decision yesterday. You're a council member, don't you recall? Well, later.
By the way, Princess, now that Sonic's gone, who's going to take his place on the council?
Don't worry, brother. Somehow I think we'll manage.
There you go. That's it. Oh boy, that was a mouthful. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. Next time, I won't be reading shit again. Hopefully. See you then.